Welcome to We the World and our 2025 MLK Manifesting the Dream event. Each year, we take time to remember Martin Luther King Jr. and his beloved community, and each year we are thrilled to feature the many people and organizations who have taken action to be of service, not only in January and February, but all year round. We at We the World welcome you to take action and be of service at we.net/MLK from January 15th to February 28th. Please join us in being a part of this annual celebration and consider being of service in your communities and with us. Of course, donations are very appreciated at we.net/donate. My name is Yana Larson, and I am the HR and Deputy Director of We the World. Today, we are welcomed by fabulous people who happen to all be team members of We the World, so this is very exciting. Thato Angelina Gabaitse is a Gaborone, Botswana-based entrepreneur and philanthropist driven by a passion for sustainable agriculture and community empowerment. Leading Lemon and Vinegar Ltd, which she founded, she connects farmers with essential resources, distributing agricultural produce, machinery, and equipment. Her 6 years of experience in livestock and rain-fed crop management, combined with her qualifications as a horticulture enterprise manager, make her a trusted advisor in the agricultural sector. Thato's commitment extends to building strategic partnerships and engaging stakeholders to develop programs that address social constructs like age, gender, and race. She is skilled in team building and program construction, ensuring impactful outcomes aligned with specific event and thematic goals. And Thato, I pass the talking stick to you.
Thank you so much, Yana, for the lovely introduction and a warm welcome to our listeners. On today's panel, we'll be talking about gender equality for a sustainable future, advancing women's leadership in global development and climate action. The panelists, experienced and with so much expertise, will be highlighting the pivotal role of women in driving global climate action, economic resilience, and development. They will address global policy solutions to overcome systemic barriers to gender equality and advocate for women's leadership in key sectors. Our first speaker, Subrata, is an international development professional, having more than 15 years of significant experience in the domains of child protection, gender equality, and social inclusion, women's rights, has lived, worked, collaborated across 20 plus countries of the global south, USA, UK, Australia, Germany, the Netherlands, and has extensive experience in working and collaborating with the UN missions and the World Bank to advance policy to the national governments of Asian countries. The floor is yours, Subrata.
Thank you so much, Thato, for giving so much of good introduction, lovely introduction about me. I'm also very happy that today is one of the very important day because we are observing MLK service, annual MLK Day service, and in this platform we will be sharing a lot of interesting things that are affecting global humanity at large, of which I'll be sharing some of the interesting discussion about global policy solutions to address barriers to gender equality. Now, while we will be talking about gender equality, we must be aware of some elementary ideas that we often do some kind of mistakes. We don't have certain kind of basic ideas, elementary ideas about gender. So given on the context, we will first to understand what is gender and why we will be discussing gender equality, why it is important for our society as well as international community at large. Gender is socially constructed idea as well as thought and constructed, as I said, constructed characteristic of boys and girls, men and women in society. And this includes behavior, cultures, roles and responsibilities, relationship between men and women, boys and girls, and this kind of specific ideas, thoughts, it varies from country to country, culture to culture, and it also change over the period of time. So at the same time, we need to understand through this understanding of what is gender, it based on certain kind of roles and responsibilities, expectations learned through socialization processes in each and every country. So socialization process is different from country to country, and each each and every country is completely different in terms of culture, language, and many other issues. And at the same time, while we are talking about gender, it impacts a lot of significant areas of development like education, like healthcare, like employment, like political and economic decisions making, both at the family level as well as at the parliament. So where we should see women and girls in that particular scenario. So before going to start the real issues, challenges of women facing today, so we'll be discussing certain kind of ideas that have been promoting by United Nations since for a long time. In 1947, United Nations has declared promoted certain kind of ideas, and a global international conference was convened, and it was in 1947, it was on the Commission of the Status of Women. And the Commission of the Status of Women tries to understand what are the situations of girls and women around the world, what they are doing, how they are suffering, what kind of challenges they are facing and issues they are handling throughout their life, and what kind of enabling environment they need to prosper in their lifetime. So this is one of the vital area. And next, in 1953, there was a convention on the political rights of women. So political rights of women, one of the key areas of women empowerment issues. So women are not given any chance to take a decision either within family or community or local governing system or in the parliament. So women's access to political decision making, resources, institutions are extremely important for them. That is why even United Nations has been very much interested to protect this kind of rights and responsibilities, roles of women and girls in society. Then in 1953, we have seen the political rights of women. Then 1979, it was CEDAW. CEDAW is Convention of the Elimination of the all kinds of discrimination against women. What kind of discrimination? Discrimination is rampant against women, socially, culturally, politically, in all affairs of life. When the child is born, from the cradle to grave, we should say cradle to grave means when the child is born and playing on the cradle. Since then, they throughout their life till the grave, they are facing a lots of challenges. They are not allowed to step out of their home to do certain kind of work that they need to do, and they must have that kind of human freedoms to do their own job, to have their own say in their decision making processes. And in 1987, there is another groundbreaking landmark conference was held. It was in Nairobi. It was called Nairobi Conference. And it was also very much critical challenges from that period of time. Much more ago, many centuries, women are facing violence. So this Nairobi Conference they want to protect women from the violence against any kind of violence. That is the patriarchy, that is the system, and various lots of challenges are there. At the same time, in 1995, Beijing Declaration was a historic landmark convention, the conference organized by United Nations, and in which 189 countries, they ratified all the commitments placed, and they placed to do certain kind of things to promote the rights of women, to promote peace, and to promote national development in collaboration with women and girls in every society and culture. It says that first of all, few major decisions they have taken: ending violence against women, promoting education of women, girls and women, promoting healthcare, promoting decision making in economy, and promoting their role in media, peace and security, as well as sustainable development. So these are the critical areas. If we do not involve women in all these areas equally, with equal status, equal dignity, we will not be in a position to achieve our goals. Sustainable, we are talking about sustainable development goals, but after a long time, we have already passed 30 years of Beijing Declaration. It was signed in 1995. 189 countries have agreed to do this kind of things. But the problem is they are saying they are signing the agreement, they are developing up certain kind of policies, but the stage of implementation is extremely difficult. Neither the government nor the society, they always try to evade this kind of issues to apply to implement this kind of important issues at their own levels of society. So in that respect, we will be discussing another things that I have a certain groundbreaking research on gender equality issues published. They are also published under my leadership, and we found that there are several challenges. Key findings we found: the challenges are the political tire and this part of autocracy that leads to patriarchy. As we know that today in our world, how autocracy, dictatorship, and fascism has gaining ground, and they are coming to power and taking over the charge of the government, and they are making mess at every levels of society, be it in economy, be it in society, be it in culture, be it in gender equality and gender equal inclusive governing systems uh, as a result. At the same time, we also found that systemic challenges are there: political tyranny, systemic challenges, women's lack of access to lack of access and control over resources, and at the same time, political power dynamics. That is the unequal power relations between boys and girls, as well as men and women in any country, in any given society at large. At the same time, we are finding a lots of problems of intersectionality, deep social structure, and harmful social practices and cultural traditions of many societies that prevent women to participate in the decision-making process of education, healthcare, political, and economic decisions. And this kind of challenges we have also found that why this is happening, because of low dignity of low status, as well as low dignity of women in society, and it creates a lots of problem in relation to, and this kind of situation also intersect with gender, age, race, socioeconomic status, as well as other issues, challenging deep social structural issues that perpetuate gender inequality in many societies across the world. So in this respect, we must be aware that if we don't do this kind of things, if we only discuss and do nothing, then it will not be very good for our global society. If we are not promoting women, giving access women their requisite role, their relevant role in the society, in the economy and political decision-making processes, then it will not be it will not only hamper the women's cause, it will hamper social justice, and it will hamper also global as well as national economic development goals. Because if we deprive half of the humanity, that is the women globally, then they will not be in a position to get enough access to education, to get the requisite skills, knowledge. And if we are not in a position to give access to women in employment situation, in employment organizations, give them a proper access to employment, then the economy will be down. The economy will not be able to prosper in that particular way. Poverty will be the permanent feature of every society, be it in Africa, Asia, Latin America, Australia, or many other continents, regions in the world. So right now we'll be looking at that how much progress we have done. So we have already seen that since 1979 to 1995, there have been lots of conferences organized by United Nations, and in every conference, more than hundreds countries, they are this signatory of this kind of pledge that they have taken as a rule of law, as an international law, to guide them, to guide to their policies, policy development programs, as well as institutionalize this kind of actions at the ground level to get the results for gender equality at every level. In that particular area, we'll be mentioning certain kind of things that since the very for a long time, as we know that Human Development Index have been prepared, and based on that index, based on that documents, researches, we found there are lots of countries they are lagging far behind from many other countries. We'll be talking about certain countries who are the top 5 countries in gender equality context. The first country is Iceland, Norway, Finland, New Zealand, and Sweden. You look at these countries, they have achieved a lot of things. When there is a gender equality, there is a lots of development that's happening. Look, those who are countries at the top of the gender equality index, they are achieving a lot, not only in gender equality terms, social justice, but also they have earned a lot of value in their national economy. They have one of the best country in the world in terms of economic development and other socio-economic cultural development issues. And those who are at the bottom of 5, they are Sudan, Pakistan, Chad, Iran, India. India is 129. It's very shameful. Like the country India is occupying 129 position out of 146 country. India has achieved lots of things in science, technology, many other areas, but India is lagging far behind from other countries, including Botswana, including many other countries of the many other countries of the global south, especially from African regional countries. And on this, we'll be talking about some of the countries. World Economic Forum has said one very interesting thing, that in their latest 2024 report, that it will take another, listen very carefully, it will take another 131 years to achieve gender parity, gender equality in international community. If we progress, if we do our work as per our commitment, as per the global conferences we attended, and we ratified various treaties under UN missions, we'll be in a position to achieve this goal in 131 years. So you understand what kind of things are happening. Now, we are talking about East European Asian tigers. Asia has always been one of the poverty-stricken region in the world, like Africa. But again, Asia has different kinds of dimensions and of development. Like we can talk about Asian tigers, like Hong Kong, Singapore, South Korea, and Taiwan. They have achieved a lot in all of their national economy and progressed a lot within Asia regional countries. but India is far lagging far behind them. Why? Because these countries, Hong Kong, Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, they have achieved a lot in terms of education, in terms of public health care, in terms of gender equality, in terms of women's involvement in economic decision and political decision making. So they have achieved a lot. In case of East European countries, we can see Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Poland, Estonia. Estonia is one of the first country within Europe. Just remember, one of the first country within Europe who introduced digital public service system first in the Europe. It was one of the smallest country in the world, Estonia, but highly developed, and they also maintained this kind of gender parity in at every levels of their social, political, cultural, educational context. UNDP, as we have been discussing about gender equality index, UNDP has been set aside for three few areas to categorize gender equality. What are they? They are education, employment, representation, and participation in parliament. So based on these criteria, they have been finding that these countries are at the top level of the gender equality index, are some of the countries at the bottom and some of the countries at the middle. So some of the countries like the conditions, especially USA, is 27th. Just imagine, USA is one of the most powerful and one of the most progressive and one of the most highly developed country, but their gender equality index is 27. But Iceland, one of the top country, holding the top position of gender equality, along with Norway, Finland. Now we'll be taking into some kind of also data how we are positioned in terms of gender equality across many other cases. Like see, 1 in 3 women and girls are impacted by physical or sexual violence in their lifetime. Oh, it is dangerous for everyone in every culture. So it's global phenomena, and global pandemic of global 19 pandemic fractures families, communities, hampers development, and also costing billions of dollars annually in healthcare costs and loss of productivity. So due to public healthcare problems, challenges of public healthcare, we lost lots of human resources. Lots of people died during the COVID, 3 years of COVID tragedy in our world. More than 125 countries have specific laws that penalize domestic violence, yet 603 million women live in countries where it is not considered a crime. Even agencies report that says. Another report, they are saying that countries with greater gender equality have economics that grow faster. We have already discussed like Hong Kong, Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, and East European countries. This is historically true, and this has research. There were many researchers have found that this has been truth from scientific analysis and scientific inquiry about this kind of understanding. And 134, when women are empowered, listen very carefully, when women are empowered and have an income, they invest back to their own family, their children, children's education, children's healthcare, children nutrition, and family nutrition processes, and overall well-being of the family. So it's extremely important. So just imagine, in that context, if we hold back women, if we prevent women to participate in any kind of social, economic, political processes, that will be a dangerous thing for all of us. It will not hamper not only women, but it will hamper the men, children, as well as entire society at large. There are 925 million people to go hungry every day. Now, FAO, Food Events Organization, FAO said it estimates that if women had the same access to men and income, they invest to productive assets, increase agricultural output in 34 developing countries, could produce the number of hungry people up to 150 million. So they can provide food 150 million people in the world. So just imagine out of this situation that how it is important to involve and make sure women's empowerment issues, women's participation in all areas of our development. According to IPU, that they have generated report 2024, they said that look how it is a women empowerment situation issues. Five top countries, women are represented in the parliament. Rwanda, one of the very backward country, socially, economically, but very strong. Women empowerment is very strong over there. 64% women are representing in the parliament. Cuba, 56%. Nicaragua, 54%. Mexico, 50%, Andorra, very small country of Africa, 50%, and Bolivia of Latin American countries, they are 46%. And five bottom countries who are there, Yemen, 0%, Oman, 0%, and Papua New Guinea, only 3%, Maldives, 3%, Nigeria, 4%, Ethiopia, 41%, Burundi, 38%, South Sudan, 32%. Highly developed countries, what their position? Sweden, 47%, Finland, 46%, Iceland, 46%, Switzerland, 38%, Australia, 38%, France, 36%, Germany, 35%, Canada, 31%, USA, 29%. Our most bad thing is that India is a huge country, only 14% women representing in the parliament. Even the
Yes.
challenges are women are facing, they are not in a position, not a single woman. Very few women are there, very strong personality. They can speak out in the parliament. They can talk about any kind of issues in the parliament. Very few, at least one or two. Most of the women out of 14%, they are suppressed. They are not in a position to take any decision. Only the patriarchal society, that the male who are involved in this kind of policy decisions, they are taking everything and they just signed off the documents. That is the challenges that we are facing. And to address the barriers, what we should do a lot of things in the policy programs and many issues. What kind of policies program we need to do? And legal and policy frameworks we have to need to change very much. In which area? Now we must have laws to prohibit all kinds of all forms of gender-based violence, violence against women. We must have strong laws and as well as institutions at the ground level as well as at the state, province, and national level, which is not working properly in across many
Yeah.
countries. And what is
I think
other thing?
one of the things that you mentioned, which
Yes.
is really, yes, we'll get back to the recommendations when we're wrapping up. You mentioned one of the countries being Burundi, and one of our panelists is from there, and he's doing such amazing work. What I appreciate is that you unpacked gender to be a social construct, and included cultural, socio-economic activities and not just basing it on heteronomy factors that we are being misinformed about. And in addressing one of the challenges of why countries have not developed or moved forward in terms of gender equality is that even the systems that are in place were developed through imperialism, colonialism. So that is one of the things that we need to do to decolonize systems. Let's welcome our next speaker, and then we'll get back to you for the recommendations on policy and hearing more about that. Our next speaker is Didier, who's an environmental justice advocate committed to educating communities for a strong environment stewardship. As a We the World volunteer, he has worked with 350.org, the Mother Earth Project, and Citizens Climate Lobby. His background includes equipping future educators of religious and faith leaders on climate justice advocacy, and he has done extensive work traveling to Kenya, Benin, Togo, and Rwanda in his efforts to reduce climate impact. He is from Burundi, and all of these countries that Didier has traveled to, Subrata mentioned to be one of the countries that need more support in terms of advancing gender responsive approaches The floor is yours, Didier. Please share more about the work that you are doing, and then we can open the floor up for any last words.
Thank you very much, Angelina. It's a pleasure for me to speak on this great day about equality gender. As Martin Luther King spent his whole life in defending and advocating for human rights and all social injustice based on all aspects, whether race, ethnicity, gender, religion, or culture. Governments, local, regional, and international initiatives, including We the World, have been working hard to use his legacy to eradicate any kind of social inequality. Then it is my place became a controversial topic due to cultural and religious diversity. Then we have these two. I've set two challenges. The first one is, what about a society that neglects women power in the fight for a sustainable world? The second challenge is, what about a society that considers a woman as always a beneficiary instead of a partner in a community, in any community action? Thus, women embody power that societies need to achieve sustainable goals, sustainable solutions for local and global problems. Therefore, all community actions and leadership positions should involve women. Some cultures still exclude women from different actions likely to contribute to sustainable development. In the case of a project we are running in Burundi, the project's named Bees for All, women are absolutely excluded. We saw that women are absolutely excluded. And then the project decides to involve women. Then they are participating in the project in two groups, and each group have a leader who is a woman. And we have 6 groups of women in the project. The reason why we are trying to involve women in this project, it's because beekeeping is one of other actions that women are excluded by the culture. Then we are working hard. It's a way of breaking the unnecessary culture. Then this project is empowering women, because this project will make money for them, and financially women need to be empowered. And then empowerment must include some activities that's to make money, because all manipulations the societies have been using is they are using the lack of money, the lack of financial means, and then it's very easy for societies, for culture to manipulate women. Then as strategies of the project, we are putting in all decision positions. We include women in the project. Yeah, and during the activities of the project, we have sessions on we have sessions on empowerment, to empower women on English. Yeah, because some of the women are victims of early pregnancies, and they dropped out of schools. And then what they need is empowerment. You know, the current world are using, most of resources are in English. Okay, they're in English, and Burundi is one of the countries that have been using French, and then they are not accessing the resources written in English, which is a very big challenge. That it's quite impossible to attend or to visit a library that mostly has resources written in English. Okay, then during those activities, we have times for like clubs to empower young girls, members of those groups, beekeeping, those beekeeping groups. Then we have sessions on empowering young girls in English skills, because they need skills. They need English. You see, you will not have any speaker in such sessions, in such talks, if she is not able to speak English. Then we are combining this project to help young girls to get familiar with English, so that they can express their views or their thoughts or their experience to the global level. Another thing is that project, a beekeeping project, will help those who dropped from out of school to go again to school, because they are still young to go to school. Then we have been collaborating with the local administration, yeah, so that they can help breaking the culture that excludes women from eradicating from edificating the society, the local society. Also, we are helping to access the labor market, because on the labor market, everyone needs English. Then it's a big challenge for French countries, for countries that are using French, because to succeed at an interview, a job interview, you are required to have skills in English. Then that's a big challenge that keep women from accessing jobs, from accessing opportunities. Yeah, that's all about gender equality. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Didier, for sharing that. One of the things that you noted is that, women have this embodied power. I mean, the women that I know are powerful and daring. So the problem just lies in with the system and basing language as the standard of living. And I appreciate the community projects that you've mentioned, where you are addressing issues such as accessibility and inclusivity to for them to be empowered to have access to owning land rights, to having financial education. And I believe that there's no way how community work can run parallel. It has to move with policy framework. That is how we're bringing in back Subrata so that he can share the policy solutions that he had iterated. And as we'll be wrapping up the session, how do you think we can find a way of merging, of coming together to address these issues that are at hand, community work and policy dialogues and policy briefs?
Thank you so much for this kind of comments. And I would say that, as I said since the very beginning of my discussion, that from the ground level, community level projects to the national level programs, everywhere there should be one kind of uniformity, uniform policy, uniform programs, or uniform practices. That is the biggest challenge. Government has taken a lots of policy issues in regard to STEM education for girls and women economic empowerment for entrepreneurship program. They are giving a lots of training, skill development training. But we need to understand the levels of training. We need to understand the quality of the training they are giving imparted to girls and women, and what kind of workplaces they will have when they complete their education and study program. At the same time, when we are talking about legal protection for women at the workplaces, due to gender-based violence and many other issues, discrimination, gender-based discriminations. So that must be on focus. That is the one critical areas. And there is one research that found that when women are equally participating in the governing board of international corporations or multinational corporation, big organizations, corporate bodies, their profit grows 34% more than when women are not there in the board. There are lots of laws and policy challenges. They, in many government, including India government, they have proposed a policy for women's participation in the governing body, but they have not mentioned the percentage of women equally participate in the governing body. So out of three, only one women are there and two are men. So in that respect, it is also hampering the not only gender equality, but also it is hampering the profit of the corporations. So apart from that, I would like to say it is also important to global partnership between government as well as civil society organizations and the organizations like We the World and many other global organizations. They are doing wonderful job for the benefits of the people of the global society at large, especially for the gender equality at large. And at the same time, at the current situation, we need a lots of fund. So fund for gender equality. It is very, very challenging in Europe, America, Africa, Asia, and many countries. When there is no fund, so there is a big problem. Even I face a lot of problems when I talked about gender budgeting in my program of the World Bank project. So government is not in a position to provide any kind of fund, but the people, the stakeholders, the principals who are managing these kind of activities, they are struggling a lot to find the fund to implement those kind of activities in regard to gender equality and women empowerment. So I think to conclude all of this issue, I should say government must have political will. Government must have sincerity about this gender equality program. This will not only help men and women, boys and girls, but it will help entire society, entire community at large. So this is the one area of concern that we must have ensure from the government, that they should be in a position to implement this kind of programs in collaboration with civil society organization and other global organization at large. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Subrata. I couldn't agree with you more. Over to you, Didier. Share with us your last words as we see that the 69th session of Commission on the Status of Women is happening next month. It'll be a hybrid event. How can we engage as community, as civil society on that? You're muted, Didier.
Oh, yeah. Would you please say again, please?
I was saying, like Subrata reiterated that there needs to be political will, and the 69th session on the Commission of the Status of Women is happening next month, and it will be a hybrid event. How can we engage as civil society, as communities, on addressing those issues to sensitize the states on the needs and the demands that we have?
Oh, yeah. I think, as you say, we need partnership. Partnership is something very powerful. If we say partnership, it means it's experience, joining experiences. What's happened and in America, in Canada, in Burundi, then they experience challenges. Maybe now they found solutions, and then partnership that we learn from each other. Societies have solutions and experiences. Then what we need a partnership to solve those. For instance, we have other beekeepers that succeeded, and maybe that's engaged, that's involved women. We need them to share the success. And then we also need we need funds as well. It's a great part of success. We need to improve. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Didier, and thank you so much to our panels. You've heard them. They had talking about partnerships. There's no way how we can do this on our own. And I'm a firm believer in that communities need to engage with the policymakers and share the successes, because there's so much work that communities are doing that the policymakers might not be aware of. So let's engage on these issues, and I believe platforms like such as these will amplify the work that you're doing, so that more and more people can learn and support. We have come to the end of our session, and I will give back the floor to Gianna.
Well, thank you. And what she said and what our guest said, it's all very important. Thank you, Birgit Ben-Eli, our events director and my tech assistant for today. Thank you to Thato, Didier, Subrata for being a part of this fascinating discussion. Thank you, our audience, for joining our broadcast today. And remember, please join us and take action to be of service at we.net/MLK. And donations are gratefully appreciated at we.net/donate. Goodbye from all of us at We the World.